Welcome everybody to Race Spec Elite Series on the PS4. I'm your commentator today, Ken Tema, and we are here in Austin, Texas. A beautiful track and a fun one to drive. The Circuit of the Americas has 20 corners, 10 to the left, 10 to the right, and I like to think of it as a Frankenstein-like track that has taken the best bits of other tracks and sewn them all together. The track provides two good overtaking areas, one uphill at turn 1 and after the long straight at turn 12. There's always plenty of action, and I've no doubt today will be the same. I hope you enjoy the American Grand Prix. And we are here, 17 minutes left in qualifying in Austin, Texas in the USA. 3 races left until the end of the series. I hope you've been enjoying it so far. Today we have 12 races. We have Aaron, who's been racing very well. Spilly, Plevs, who's at the top of the standings and one of the people to watch today. We have Expree 15, Miku 40, Shumbo, Geordie F1, Toddstar 99, Pete, Rossi, and Shepalele in today's race. Maybe a few others joining mid-qualifying who'll be starting at the back of the grid. But at the moment we have 12 races to contend today's race, as we currently see Aaron going out in the Red Bull. So while some races are doing their outlaps, let's have a quick look at the standings at the moment as we bring over the driver standings. Amazing Arrow at the top of those standings. Then we have Plebs and Jompalainen, 196 and 192, extremely close with 3 races left. Jompalainen currently not here. If he joins the race, he'll be having to cut through the field to try and get himself some points to stay in touching distance of Plebs, but a great opportunity for Plebs today to get some points and really build a little gap with a couple of races left. We have Eye Contrast on 143, not out of it mathematically, and not here today, which is gonna put a dent in his hopes. Bullet Boy not here today either, so they will fight it out for 4th over the next few weeks as well. Miku, though, he is here, and a great opportunity for him to jump a few competitors. Pete down in 106 points, has the ability to win this race and could definitely put himself in the mix for that 4th place as well. As we'll have a quick check of the constructor standings before heading back to our race footage. Alfa Romeo have that lead right out in front, but Renault are pegging them back, and we have 2 Renaults racing today, so they'll be up to make some points and win the Constructors' Championships for Renault. Haas a little too far behind now, although Jompalainen could get some points, and Racing Point has really dropped off in the last couple of weeks. Let's head back onto the track, where we are still with Aaron here. Just a little bit of an onboard shot of Aaron in the Red Bull. A nice bright green helmet he is sporting today. And a few of these guys don't like this track from my understanding, and a few do, so we could have a bit of a mixed bag today. Spilly's on an outlap and so is Plebs, but we'll stay with Aaron for the moment. We will bring up a little bit of telemetry and some splits so we can have a look at those as our races go around. And a tricky and technical track, so could see some decent times here today and a few mistakes, and you can really wipe off tenths of a second off your time. So it's one of those laps where it's hard to be consistent around this track in Texas, but if you do nail it, you can get a leg up on your competitors, as we see a few people setting their times now. Shepalele a 131.32, Rossi with a 131.8, and Pete with a 132.1. All of those guys I know can go a little quicker. It's pretty good from Shepalele though. But Rossi and Pete I think can do a little better than that one, maybe getting a sider. As Aaron decides to abort his lap, go into the pits. We're on track with Spilly now in the Racing Point. As he heads around, we'll go on board with this T-Cam, the top of the F1 car. Looks like he has backed out and is doing another outlap, or he's just getting a cider, and we'll go into the pits. Plebs not using too much ERS here at the moment, but it's at the start of his lap, and this is a flying lap, so let's see what Plebs is able to do now. He'll stay in this T-cam. Just missing the apex there through the curves. And into 5th 4, you want a late apex here, and this can be tricky to get traction out of this corner. You want to use that curve without invalidating, and using all of the track without invalidating. That's very nice driving there. Right down, some people touch first on that one. You need good traction out of this because you carry that speed all the way down this straight. And a great overtaking section here at the end of this straight. The sun is quite glary there for the drivers, can make it difficult in this qualifying patch. I believe the race is at a different time, so the sun is at a different point in the sky, which makes racing a little better. Although at the end of the race, I believe sun can get in your eyes a little bit, and it just goes to show how much detail they put into this game that at the end of the race the sun still gets in your eyes. As he comes around, he's only got a couple of corners left. You want to touch 5th, touch that, not go too wide there. Down into 2nd, you can use a fair bit of that curb, chooses not to, and he will set a 1:31.9. I know he can go quicker than that. And Rossi Chapelele still has our top times there. Who's on track at the moment? Aaron's on an outlap. Miku's on an outlap. Geordie is also on an outlap. X-Bree has done a 1:32.5, which is not too bad for the Williams driver. One of our normal commentators is in the car today, so it'll be good to see him doing some laps in the race spec community. Big shout out to X-Bree, as does do a lot of our commentating, which means you can't race all the time, so it is a little bit of a sacrifice when our commentators do give up a little bit of racing sometimes to commentate these races. You see Chumbo in the pits. No need to look at the pits. Aaron on this outlap. Stay with this outlap because he needs to set a time, and he's one of the quicker guys here today. He's going to come around this final corner. Good traction out of there to start his lap. You don't want to touch too much of that right hand curve, you can lose a bit of traction as he comes through this tricky section. This is where everyone can lose a lot of time or gain it, and you want to take a lot of curve there, and he has lost a little bit of time there. Going into 5th round here. It is one of those tracks where you need a lot of practice to really nail before the race. Stay on board with the Red Bull as he goes through this final lap. So he's at about the same place Plebs was time-wise, as he's cut that majorly. That could invalidate this lap. Yeah, he's going in. He's probably invalidated before that. As you see Spilly and on track now. He's using his ERS, so this is a hot lap for Spilly. Let's see what time he's able to do. And meanwhile, when we were on board with Aaron, Geordie has set a 1:31.8, which is a good time for him to be kicking off his qualifying session with. All of these guys will be knowing that they have tenths of a second in the bag that they can pull out for their final lap. And we still have 8 minutes and 20 seconds left. Let's see what time Spilly can do in the racing points. We're going a little wide on that exit. And 1:32 flat. Not too bad, as Pete goes to 1:31.4 in the Mercedes, the silver arrows there. Two drivers yet to do a time are Aaron and 40. Shumbo's done a 1:33.1. Expre's on an outlap, and Plebs is currently on an outlap as well. You're looking at about a minute 30, minute 40, so about a minute 40 to do an outlap if we're being generous. These drivers need to keep that in the back of their mind, especially the ones doing their outlaps now. Keep an eye on that timer so you can do that final lap near the end of the session if you need to. It's best to maybe do 3 runs, a cider and then a fast lap, and then if you can a faster lap. Bruno there on the softs, and what we should do is just check, and everyone is doing softs, so yeah, everyone will start this race on softs and then move to a medium or hard tire. Hards are pretty bad around here, so you want to try and save your tires as much as you can to get on those mediums if possible. But it is a very challenging track on tires and strategy, and when you pit as well. When you pit can have a very telling part on where you finish this race, as the undercut can be quite powerful as those softs drop right off. We've got a fair few guys in the pits at the moment. We've got 40 who set a 1:31.5, and Aaron still hasn't set a lap yet, which could be an issue for him, but we have Shumbo at 1:32.6 still on track. We're following 40 at the moment. He's going into the pits. We've got Geordie and Crossy on their outlaps. Let's follow some of the guys we haven't put the spotlight on so far. We've got Geordie and Crossy. Are they on track? Are they near each other? Geordie's going through the bends there. We'll stay with Crossy as I think he's going to start his lap 4. Geordie will. I think Geordie's a little bit behind him there. With Crossy now. We'll go on board when he starts his lap. But at the moment that 1:31.16 Kapalele is looking like a good time. Still 3/10 to the next racer in Pete Brighton. Geordie's on track. Petey's out on track as well, and it looks like Plebs is possibly trying to go faster, but let's go on board with Crossy here. See what his lap is like and if he can go a little better. He's coming up to this first one. Exits off camber here, so it can be a little tricky to get traction. He's done that well though. Nice smooth entry and a nice smooth exit, so that'll be putting him in the good books for time, and he's taken those curbs nicely too. Last one was a little out of control, but let's see how he takes this one down into 4th. You want a bit of a late apex. He doesn't use any of the curb there on the exit, but he uses the curb on the right hand side and a lot of it. Come right down. You can feel it very slow motion when you take that corner. Sun right in your eyes here, right in our eyes, that's for sure. We'll see if we can get a split to come up in a moment. See if he is going quicker. And he's a little bit slower than his lap, 0.2 slower. So he does have a bit of ground to make up there. Just goes to show the fine margins. Oh, and the loose time there with the exit. Could be a very tricky corner, that one. It doesn't look like anything super special, but you can get some serious wheel spin when you come out of it. And he's going to abandon that lap, obviously too slow, being 0.286 down, and then the wheel spin coming out of that corner. We've got Geordie who's trying to go a bit quicker as well. Let's go on board with him. A little bit of glitching there, and see he's going to abandon that, so he obviously wasn't going quicker either. Everyone is in the pits, and I suspect everyone will come out for their final hot lap. Try and get themselves higher up on this grid for this Texan Grand Prix, as Billy's going a little slow around the track. Shumbo's coming out, and who else is... or another car driver to the pits. Miku's going to try and get in. Oh, he's gone in very hot there. We caught that one on camera. Miku, lucky he didn't lose a wheel on the entrance to the pits. We have Pete on the outlap. He's going to be the first one, and very quick, so we will stay with him, switching to the T-cam when he starts his lap. I suspect everyone will start to come out, not now, very shortly. Yeah, it looks like everyone is on their outlap, so we're going to get a flurry of action at the end of this qualifying. And Miku couldn't get out in time, so he has retired from that session, which would be this one, as Pete nearly ending his outlap, and he'll be the first one to go round. Aaron's still in the pits. He's going to have to start from last, just couldn't get a lap done. Poor Aaron, so he'll be from last, probably trying an alternate strategy maybe. Just not able to get a lap done. Kept going out and kept abandoning. And here we go, Pete. Starting his lap. He's one of the first ones. Spilly, I think, is maybe just ahead of him, also going around. 40 just started his lap as well. So we will switch to 40 straight after Pete completes his. Let's see what Pete can do. Nicely over the curbs, not losing any time there, that's for sure. Every inch without invalidating being used on this track. Using all the curb there as well. This is pinpoint accuracy. And right down, little lock up there, that'll cost him a 10. Like coming down this straight. We have a yellow in sector 2, that can only be an accident, as not many people will be slowing down now. And sector 3. Might be ahead of us. Oh, big lock up from Pete. Expree is finished. Aaron is finished. Expree may have crashed. And comes right down into second there. Good exit. Nice gain of traction on those rear wheels. As I said, that could be a tricky last corner. He's got 2 corners left. We'll see what time he's able to post, if he's able to get on pole. Very wide there. I don't think that invalidates you when you go wide there. Lock up. And what time is he able to do? He can't go better than his 131.4. Spilly's on his hot lap. 40, looks like he has abandoned his lap. He's not going to go quicker. Who else do we have that could go faster? Lev's trying to go faster here. And the second around that one. Some people touched first there, that's why I was a little curious as to what he was going to do there. 5th, very wide. And is he able to go quicker? As no one's really going quicker here. Plebs does go quicker, 131.4, that'll put him on the front row of the grid. Everyone is done, that'll be qualifying. No one really changed their order from what they were doing in that. So that last hot lap was a bit of a letdown. The only person to really put anything faster on the table was Plebs and Chapalele. I apologise, Chapalele. He did set a faster pole time of 1:30, cracking that 1:30 mark, the only one to do it today. So we'll just check out our grid for today. Chapelele on pole position, cracking the 1:30 mark. Plebs, Big Crichton, Geordie F1, Crossy F1, Spilly 40, X3, Toddstart, Iku, a bit further down than he's used to. Shumbo and Aaron unable to get a lap, so he's going to have to do some carving of the field, really chop it up on his way through the USA Grand Prix. And with that, we will be back with the start Grand Prix very shortly. We are back in Austin, Texas, and getting ready for the formation lap in this PS4 Elite Series. You are with Race Spec Esports. I'm your commentator, Kentema, and looks like it's going to be a good race today. Chapelele showing some real pace here today. Plebs got himself onto the front row of the grid with his last hot lap. Rival Pete just behind him. Geordie showing some good pace as well on the second row of the grid. Then we have Crossy, Spilly, the third row. 40, X3 got himself up there near the end of qualifying as well. Toddstart doing well. Miku saying in the chat that he's mucked up his setup and he's mucked up his qualifying. So we'll have to see what he's able to do handling that Williams. Maybe a real life imitating art here with a Williams that is not so great aerodynamically around the USA. As then we have Shumbo in 11th. Aaron and John Polainen has jumped in, so he will be looking to make up some points here, carve through the grid. He is in a Ferrari, but he does drive for Haas. But it's important that he is here today because Plebs and John Polainen only separated by a couple of points for that second position in the championship. And what's going to also be interested is what tyre people are on. Shumbo just did the mediums, starting from 11th. John Polainen's not going alternate, he's on the softs. Aaron has decided to go alternate strategy on the mediums as well, so we'll keep a close eye on that during the race. Chapelele front row of the grid, and with John Polainen in the race as well, Haas could still put in a few points for that constructors title. It's definitely not out of the picture now, but a lucky 13 entrants into today's Race Spec Elite Series. And just a reminder, these guys have no assists. The Elite Series is a no assist race. You can race with a controller or with steering wheel, as most of these guys have wheels. You can have racing line, and that is all. No assists in the Elite Series. We'll see what angle we can get here. We might have to start from the back. I don't know why it's giving us the wing on Chapelele. There we go. We are at the front now. And the lights are out. We are racing in Austin, Texas. And everyone seems to have gotten a race to a good start. Plebs is a little slow off the line. Geordie's trying to take advantage of that. Oh, and the racing point goes up too deep, and Geordie has been spun around, and that causes everyone to stack into each other at the back of the field. That's going to cause a lot of hassle, a lot of front wings. And who's spun right around? Pete Crichton has completely lost control of that Mercedes, and he's gone right around. And there is huge carnage at the back. You can see that in the background. I'm not sure who that was, but there is massive carnage at the back of the field. Whether that's Pete still or X3 is run into him, I'm not sure. We'll check that in a minute, but we'll stay with the front runners. And they are, Chapelele's managed to hold on to his position. So has Plebs. 40 has jumped up a position. Then we have Crossy, Spilly, Toddstar. Aaron has been the big winner there, up into 7th. Miku, Geordie, John Palainen, he's jumped up as well. Shumbo, Expree, and Pete. Pete is missing most of his car. The front wing very damaged there. And he's going to limp around. He's going to have to put a new front wing on. Expree, he's coming around as well. He is missing his entire front wing. And I believe that was from the carnage that was in front of him. Very unlucky. There's not much you can do with that. Jumbo looks like he lost connection. He's rejoined, so he'll gain his car in a minute. But very unlucky for Expree at the back of the field. John Palainen, we'll just check his wing. He has damage as well. It'd be interesting to see if he comes in. And Pete's really struggling. He's got a penalty trying to get that car around. Geordie, his car looks intact. Miku, possibly intact as well. And I think the rest of the front runners have managed to get away with it. It was Spilly who went really deep in there. And it looked like he had contact with the other Red Bull, Geordie. Just a little late on the brakes there. I'll show the replay at the start once everything settles down. I did record that, so we will have a look at the replay again. We'll give it a few laps and then we'll go back and have a look once this is settled down. But at the moment we have Haas and Renault battling it out. Chapelele is building himself a little bit of a gap here. 1.6 in fact over Plebs. 40 right behind him. It'll be important that the Renaults do not crash into each other here if they really want that Constructors' Championship. It'll be extremely important. Crossy's done well from the start also. Spilly doesn't appear to have too much damage from hitting the side pod of the Red Bull. And Todd's done well to get himself up too. Shumbo's having a lot of connection issues, it appears, which is unfortunate. And it looks like Pete has a new wing and a new set of hards on. He'll try to go to the end on those hards. So a mission ahead of him right now. And Expree doing exactly the same tactic. So long afternoon for both of those drivers. And it looks like the game only wants us to give us wing cams. So we're going to do that. We're going to stay on board with Plebs. He's trying to chase down Chapelele, but he's losing a couple of tenths every single lap. And Chapelele's going off into the distance like a Lone Ranger. A Texas Lone Ranger, in fact. Chapelele in that black and gold livery. An American car at the front of the American Grand Prix at the moment. Other than that, everyone seems to be in formation. No one can really get a bit close. The turbulent air, we have to wait for DRS, which has been turned on now. So we might be able to see a little bit of overtaking now. We have DRS so important aerodynamically with these cars. And yeah, Shumbo, massive connection issues, unfortunately for him. Just commenting in the chat that he's having a bit of trouble. This is unfortunate. And 40 has gotten past Plebs. Plebs, the other Renault driver, leaving plenty of room there. Ooh, a little bit of a lock-up. They think the gloves are on. The gloves are off between these two, but it is a little bit of friendly sparring at the moment. As I said, they don't want to crash into each other. They'll lose so many points. And Crossy is the beneficiary of that sparring at the moment. Is DRS opening for him, bit of a letterbox at the back, and with that letterbox we know what comes with it, especially this year with the Renaults. You lift the stamp Ricardo style and send it using the open wing of the letterbox. So many metaphors in the one thing. Oh, going very wide there. Crossy getting a time penalty, and that's going to be another story today. Who can keep their penalties down? Those penalties can be so important. Geordie getting one as well. We see Plebs often uses the fact that he doesn't get too many penalties to jump people at the end of the race. May cost him a little bit in the race, but it definitely makes up for it at the end when he's able to jump people because he doesn't have penalties compared to some who are a little bit too reckless and are taking advantage of the track limits a little bit too much. As we see a bit of battling right at the end here, we're going to stay with this as we see 3 down into the corner, 3 into 1 doesn't go, and it looks like Aaron has gone all the way past everyone. A little love tap from Tosdo and Spilly at the end. Aaron's let both of them. Great racing there for the Red Bull driver. He's up into 5th now, starting from 11. But he got that DRS and he maximised it right down the inside as also tried to go around the outside. That didn't really work for him as Spilly defended against Todstar. Maybe didn't see Aaron and he's left that door wide open, and Aaron was like, thank you very much. Went straight through up into 5th place, and he'll be chasing down Crossy. He can see him. He's a little bit away though. About 3 seconds away, in fact. We'll stay with this battle at the moment. Billy and Todstar, because Miku and Geordie have jumped up again as well. Geordie's lost a few places there, a few more places than he did at the start, so not sure what that's about, whether he's continuing on with that damage and suffering because of it. And Billy gains a 3-second time penalty there too. Jumpalainen hasn't made up as many places as he would have liked. Still down in there in 10th. And a little way off Geordie as well, so maybe something's happened to him that we didn't see. Staying with this little train here though behind Spilly. Aaron's galloped off here. He made that move stick and he has disappeared. But Spilly defending for his life against Todstar, and Miku's going to want to take advantage of this as well. And here we go. He has a little bit of look. Oh, a little bit of contact. Oh, they leave room. Also went a little deep there. And Billy just gave him a little bit of racing room there, which was good for me. Oh, and Todstar's gone very deep again. And he's sort of just barged Spilly off the track there. Really wanting to get past Spilly. He can't at the moment. They're still side by side. And Billy just holding his line. And they're still going to try and battle through this corner. Is Todstar finally going to get past? No, he's not. Just got a lot of wheel spin on the exit of that corner, and Spilly takes it back. So this battle is still going ahead. Chapalele is in the pits already. He's trying to make sure he doesn't get undercut. But we're going to stay here. Oh, we've missed. Sorry, apologize for that. As we're just trying to stay with Spilly and Todstar. Miku's right behind him. He really wants to take advantage of this as well. But this is great racing between Spilly and Todstar, wheel to wheel, as they go through the bends. Someone's cut right across there. And he probably lost. Yeah, Todstar. Todstar cut right across. He probably lost control of his car a bit there, and it's cost him 3 seconds in the end. And a lot of time on track as well. So probably more than 3 seconds. Gives Spilly a bit of breathing room. Gives him time to take some deep ones and regather himself before the inevitable challenge again from the McLaren in Todstar. Going forward with Todstar, is he gonna have a look at Spilly? Is he, or is Miku gonna have a look? Spilly, Todstar did have DRS there. Not able to get it done this time. Geordie is right behind Miku as we're on board with Miku. This is great racing between these three. Crossy is still all over Plebs and 40. That battle is going on. Todstar's got it done now. Has he? He's going to be able to make it stick. Not sure. Some others are probably getting ready to come in now as we're on lap 7. 40 Plebs. Crossy will be thinking about it. They're all close together, as well as Todstar. All that battling, and he finally gets past Spilly and he ducks into the pit, so he'll be changing his tyres. The others have stayed out. Let's go ahead with Plebs, Crossy, 40. 40 being in the race lead at the moment, but they're all within a second of each other, and they might be trying to get a move done down the straight, or keeping their powder dry before they have to pit more tyres. We should check also what tyres Chapalele went onto. He went onto the medium, so that's a long time that he's going to try and... There's Miku's come unstuck there around that. I don't think he collected anyone else, just lost track position. Chapalele got around him. possibly pushing a little bit too hard on some wearing tyres. And that's going to cost him a lot of time, actually. He was right in the thick of that fight, and now he's sort of dropped off the pace. So, when are these guys coming in? 40, Plebs, Crossy, top three, very close to each other at the front here. Geordie, what's happened to Geordie? That's not the pits, that's off the track. He's gone off as well, so these guys are really struggling, possibly a bit with the tyres and the tyre wear. As we know, this is a track that degrades your tyres quite a bit. It can get quite hot around this track, especially with how fast these guys are going in the Elite Series. You have to manage those tyres, and they go around again. They know they want to go on the mediums. That degradation could be huge at the end. And it is possible that Chapelele's come in a little bit too quickly here. Has he come in too early? And at the end of the race, his mediums are going to be cooked. Also possible, he knows he has so much speed, he's doing a two-stopper. That's possible too. If he can get a lead on these mediums, he'll be able to pit again as Geordie comes into the pits after his little off-road excursion through the far reaches of the USA. He's gone into the pits now, and he'll probably be changing to those medium tyres. We are still with 40 Plebs Crossy at the front of this race. On board with Plebs, who is close to Crossy. He's going to get this move done. He goes past him, and an easy overtake there. Got a really nice exit out of that corner. Crossy's not able to take advantage, but Plebs now in the lead of the race at the moment. A couple of guys on alternate strategies, and they were Aaron. So Aaron is on the mediums here, and he's in a nice spot. He's only 2 seconds off these three that are battling. He's on the medium tyres. He might be a little jack in the box that we need to be aware of, that will just pop up right at the end of the race when everyone's least expecting it. And Crossy very late just dumps into the pits, not letting the other guys realize he was going in, possibly. But these two Renaults are battling it out, and the thing here is, with Crossy going in, these Renaults can't go in on the same lap, so they'll be furiously discussing with each other who is going in and when, and that's difficult when you're both at the front. You don't have a race engineer or a team principal to take over and tell you who's going in and when. And it is possible that the one that goes in first is going to undercut the other one. So does track position matter here? Does Plebs get the call because he's in front? And if so, when does that call get made? They're the questions that we want to know. Aaron is still catching up to these two though. As they duke it out, Aaron's making up ground. And these softs are really dropping off. It shows that the mediums, even 9 laps old, are faster than the softs right now. And they need to get into pit, but one of them is going to have to go around again to not lose too much time. It'll be too long to double stack because they're too close to each other. Let's see who it is. Plebs is holding his position. Pete's out of the session. He's decided he can't catch up on those hards, or possibly stacked it on those hards. And by stack it, that is, as he's slang for, crashing. Xpree is not too far behind Xpree, even though he's on those hards, so keep plugging away. He could get some points here. And it's 40. 40's gone in. Interesting. I'd love to be in the tactics room of Renault when they were discussing who's going to go in. It looks like 40's gone in. It might be that Plebs' tyres are in a better condition than 40's, so they made the team decision that what is best for the team, and that in that case, or in this case, it is 40 who is doing that. Crossy has jumped 40 though, and by a fair margin, so Crossy could be in the lead of this race. No, Chapelele is in the lead and about 8 seconds behind, so Chapelele is going to try and build that gap, and he could be two-stopping here, even going on the softs near the end of the race to try and get that fastest lap. If he can build up enough of a gap that he can hit without losing a place and then set the fastest lap. He is in the box seat here, Shapalele, today. Outstanding racing. And we will wait until Plebs goes in pits and then we'll see where he comes out. Aaron's in the lead of this race on those mediums, so he'll be wanting to build a gap away from Shapalele, although Shapalele is only 5.3 seconds away. But let's wait, see where Plebs goes in, comes out, then we'll look at the start of the race again. Aaron gets a 3-second time penalty, could be costly near the end of the race. Ooh, and the Renault just gets in there without getting a penalty. We'll stay with Plebs and see where he comes out. Shapalele's already gone past him, so definitely won't be in front of the Haas driver. And Crossy's got past Spilly, who's ducked into the pits. Crossy's got past Plebs, and he's got a fair gap on him now as well. 40 has gone past Plebs as well, and it's a huge gap. And Plebs is a big loser out of that pit strategy. In fact, Toddstar has managed to get past Plebs as well. Toddstar, on those medium tyres, has gained. Plebs has lost out big. I'm surprised at how much he's lost out, and hopefully he'll be able to make up that up in this part of the race with these fresh mediums or near the end, because everyone else's will drop off a bit. Let's just see how many laps they've done on those tyres. What's the pit 4 laps ago, and those 4 laps have meant that he's jumped him. They were a couple of seconds behind, and so it has been quite a fair bit. But that's where you've got to balance it up. Do you want fresher tyres near the end, because they will be cooked? I would assume at the end of the race they will wear out quite a lot. USA very harsh on tyres. Let's just have a look on where positions have been made up. Aaron on that alternate strategy has made himself up to the front of the grid quite a bit. He still has to pit to put on different set of tyres, whether that'll be hards or mediums. We'll wait and see. Sorry, softs. He can't go on the mediums again. He needs to change compound. The Crossy's done well. He's up 2 places. 40's up 2. John Palainen's up 6. He's still out on... Like, he's on mediums. He's chasing down Plebs. So 9 seconds behind Plebs is John Palainen. They're the two that we need to watch this race. John Palainen could start making ground. Toddstar ducks out of the way, maybe deciding his fight is not with Plebs. But John Palainen and Plebs are only 2 points apart in the championship. They're the ones we need to keep an eye on. As those points will be very telling the next 2 races to see who finishes second, and even for the constructors could be very important for Renault to get above Alfa Romeos who aren't here today. So we do have a bit of a gap field. So we may just boot up the replay so we can see what happened again at the start of the race. And as we can see, here's the start of the race. Plebs gets an okay start. Geordie gets a good start. Spilly's got the start though, and he just goes for a gap that's just not going to be there. And the Mercedes sort of comes around and they all push into each other, and that's where Xpree got that massive amount of damage. And we see there, just Pete lost it completely all by himself, and a huge amount of damage. You see right in the background, he's gone straight off the track, taking out the board, wings gone, flying into the air. And it was a bit of carnage there at the start of the race. But maybe not entirely Spilly's fault, but the Mercedes did come across. And it was just a case of 4 cars do not go into one corner, and they all just sort of concertinaed into each other. And unfortunately, guys at the back just had nowhere to go. There were sideways cars in the middle of the track, and Xpree, it was costly for him. We're on lap 13 of 28 in this race Spec Elite Series. race in the USA. I hope you're enjoying the coverage so far. Xpree has retired. It's just too much to make up for him. Hope you're enjoying the coverage here today. Spilly 3-second time penalty. That'll be costly near the end of the race. Our drivers have spaced out a little bit at the moment, so no on-track wheel-to-wheel racing to speak of right now. But there's a lot of different strategies going on at the moment. Okay, so we have a yellow flag in sector 1. Don't see anyone dropping off too much. Bit of a weird sound out of Chapelele's Haas, but he's about to catch up to Aaron, and Aaron's on those old mediums, so it won't be very hard for Chapelele to get past him and to retake the lead of the race. He was on pole by a fair distance, about 3 to 4 tenths of a second, and ever since then he's been in command of this race. Really made any mistakes. Pit early for mediums, possibly going for that 2-stopper, realizing he had a bit more pace over the other drivers and he could get the 2-stopper comfortably. And at the moment, about 8.3 seconds behind, in front of Crossy, who's behind him. But 40's also made his way up onto the back of Crossy here. Crossy, the beneficiary of undercutting both 40 and Plebs, and Plebs was a big loser there. He's about 4.5 seconds behind 40 now. Having to go one extra lap, it's cost him 4.5 seconds, which is quite big. But those discussions did have to happen in the Renault garage, and we'll be hoping to make their way back up to gain some important points the remainder of the season as they are in that constructors fight. So what's going to happen here? Crossy and 40, a lot of racing together. Hopefully they don't come together here in the USA. And we haven't talked much about the track today. Quite technical track. I mentioned in the intro, it's a bit of a Frankenstein where they've taken great parts of other tracks, jammed it all together. And the good part about this corner is how wide it is as well. People think it was a little too wide in the first corner of that first lap of the race, but it gives plenty of racing for wider cars, and the F1 cars are a little bit wider nowadays. They were previously, so you need a little bit more room. Certain tracks are a little bit too skinny to let overtaking happen, but not so much here. Two great overtaking sections in turn 1 and turn 12. Turn 1 can be a little hairy as it is uphill, bit of a blind corner, and the exit is off camber, so traction can be an issue as well. But this is the easiest one down here, as we see Chapelele get that move done at the end here, and I suspect 40 might be able to get the move done, not quite. Rossi holding that position. 40, another 3-second time penalty. It's just a bit of a race to forget Geordie at the moment. Did start quite high up in the grid, but getting a lot of penalties and had that little incident in the first lap. But Chapelele got that move done on Aaron, so, and that was pretty easy down that straight. The tyre difference quite large between them. Aaron's been on those mediums since the start of the race. Rossi seems to be gaining a little time here. He was 8.4 seconds behind before. He's not really gaining on Chapelele, but he's definitely gaining on Aaron. Really moving a little bit by bit each lap. On lap 16 to 28, so 12 laps remaining. There's not really gaining on 40 though, so that's a bit of a stalemate at the moment. If 40 is able to get this overtake done on Crossy at the next DRS zone, it's quite hard to pass here without DRS. The corners are quite flowy. You need a lot of respect or trust in the driver that you are trying to overtake. If you overtake anywhere else but at the end of those two straights, And Miku's caught up a little bit from his little time off the track, and he's about 6 seconds behind Jumpalainen, who's going about his business. We haven't really had a look at Jumpalainen so far this race. He's sort of been caught in between two other races, really. He's 6 seconds behind Todstar, 7 seconds in front of Miku. But Plebs get ahead of Todstar. Didn't take him very long. Todstar's now 4 seconds behind. It just goes to show that tyres make a huge difference. Todstar did get ahead of Plebs because Plebs stayed out so long on those soft tyres, and he'll be looking just to breathe life into his race at the end of this race as we over for lap 17 of 28. 40 a lot closer this time. Is he going to be able to get the move done? Go through this flowing section. Like we mentioned, you can lose a lot of time in this flowing section. The Ghost of Shambo connection issues for him. So here we go, we're coming down into the straight. Got a cloudy day, so that sun glare won't be an issue today, I don't think. Good, we did see it quite glary on our screens in qualifying. But here we go, 40. Actually not had a great exit out on that corner. He's going to be way too far away, so... But Rossi's got the measure of him through the first sector, and 40 just can't get close enough to take advantage of it down the straight at the moment. And it looks like 40 is much better in the second and third sectors, but it's that first one that's crucial. If you can't get close enough in that first sector, you're never going to get past someone down into turn 12. And that's what's happening at the moment. That's what we're seeing every lap the last 2 or 3, is that first sector is crucial to get an overtake done. And it's Chapelele and Aaron both coming to the pits at the same time. This is interesting because Aaron's going to want to go to the end. I mean, that's 10 laps on who's Aaron going on to. He's off 10 laps on the softs, and Chapelele's come back out on those mediums as well. No, softs, they've both gone out on softs. So this has thrown a huge spanner in the works as they're side by side with Todstar and Chapelele. Chapelele keeps that position. Aaron is lost out in the pit stop. He is behind Todstar, but he's closing on him rapidly now. So I don't think anyone else will be making some stops here. Now this will be the set tyre strategy for the end of the race, and Crossy is in the lead. And is he going to be able to hold on? Chapelele has about, I reckon about 8-9 seconds to make up on those soft tyres. Is he going to be able to do it? They will drop off. I say maybe lap 26. Will be interesting, very interesting. And this is probably time for Plebs to put the hammer down. He needs to catch up to Crossy in 40 if he's going to win this race. But 40, he needs to get past Crossy because he needs to build a gap on Chapelele. Knowing the Chapelele's come in, everyone has come to life now. They've just realised that this race is on. This first place is up for grabs. By no means is it in the bag, as Chapelele has to make on-track overtakes to take this first position back. And let's see if his first sector can be a lot better from 40 this time. Let's see how close he is to the back of the gearbox of Crossy S1. And this might be where he's losing a bit of time. He just takes his foot off the throttle a little bit there. You got to keep the minimum speed up through this section. He's dropped off a little bit. Stay within. Yeah, it's definitely that section where he's losing time. So he's kept it close. It's about half a second. And this is not too bad. Can he get a good exit? Let's see. It's not too bad. A little bit of a twitch on the steering wheel, but is he going to be closer? Crossy holding that distance even with the DRS. And I get the feeling that Crossy may be saving everything up and just using all of his ERS down the straight in hot lap mode. We'll check that next time. We'll bring up the on-screen telemetry so we can see what the DRS is like down that straight, because he's able to just hold off the Renault and doing a really good job of holding onto the lead of this race. In the meantime, Chapelele is slowly coming up to Plebs. He's only 1.6 seconds behind Plebs. And Aaron has got past Todstart and is on his way trying to catch up to Chapelele as well. Fastest lap of the race for Chapelele, so he definitely has speed on these softs. He's still in the lead of this race, but there are a few cars in hot pursuit, those being Chapelele and Aaron. He did start from 11th, so he's done really well to get himself up into 5th and be on softs and in a position to strike back at these front runners. And Chapelele is right behind Plebs. Let's stay with this one because I think he's going to get the move done. Down this straight, Spilly with a 3-second time penalty. Plebs defending on the inside, so Chapelele is going to go around the outside. And very close to each other, just give each other in. We saw the front wing of the Renault flash up onto our screens just near the side pod of Chapelele, but they keep it clean and Chapelele gets that move done. Now he's next on his hit list is 40, who's just ahead of him. Down the road. And Plebs now has to defend against Aaron. He's already losing time to Chapelele, and you can probably see a Red Bull in his mirrors at 2.3 seconds behind. So this could be a close finish. 40 not able to get that pass done, as we can see how close he gets at the turn 1 there. Todster's in the pits. He may have had an incident. I'll have to go into the pits again. He'll probably be coming out on softs, putting that fastest lap in jeopardy of Chapelele if he's on softs so late in the race. Kicks up a little bit of dirt there. 40's gone wide, just trying to stay close enough. He's 0.5, so further behind than the last lap. All about the exit on this corner coming up. Or the corner they've just gone through, sorry. Billy with a 5-second penalty for corner cutting. If he's not careful, gonna be out. As looks like this time 40 gets the move done, locking up, but is he gonna hold on to it? Taking the lead of the race, 40 over Crossy. Crossy's not gonna give this one up, but this battling is just letting Chapelele catch up to the back of them. As Todd's still got a move done there on Geordie, it looks like. His soft's working out for Todster. Got the helicopter shot with everyone at the moment. Chapelele 1.7 seconds behind Crossy now. Aaron not really closing in on Plebs. Is slowly, but nowhere near as fast as what Chapelele was doing, that's for sure. And John Polone looks like he might be resigned to the fact that he is going to come 6th, being 10 seconds behind Aaron. Unfortunately, we haven't seen much of John Polone, as he hasn't been in the action at all today. Let's go back to the front though. Spilly a 3-second time penalty. If he's not careful, he's going to get disqualified for Racing Point. So Aaron gets a 3-second time penalty. That could really hurt him. We discussed earlier that Plebs doesn't like getting penalties, and I haven't seen too many pop up for him. So every penalty, the nail in the coffin of any driver that is in front or behind Plebs and within 3 seconds. Chapelele 1.1 seconds now behind Crossy. As now that 40's gotten ahead of Crossy, he's starting to build a gap, and this could prove to be a little difficult for Chapelele. As Spilly in all sorts, it looks like he's come off the track. Or is it Geordie? Have they both come together? It looks like Geordie's gone into the wall down there. Spilly's missing a wing, so they have come together. Geordie's missing it as well. We missed that one as we were focusing on the battle at the front, but it looks like they have come together. So Geordie and Spilly, they are missing front wings, and that's going to make their end of their race a little tumultuous, but they are in the points. They're still battling, so they have some decisions to make. Oh, big wheel spin on the exit from 40 there. As Chapelele is closing in on Crossy, so 40 knows got a battle coming in. Chapelele on the soft tyres. I mean, I would have done 5 laps now. They said they had 10 laps to do on the softs, both Aaron and Chapelele. They will drop off eventually. Chapelele's hoping that it is not too soon, as he is right behind Crossy. Will stay with this battle at the front. 40 Crossy, Chapelele. Godstad just bangs in a fastest lap. I said that would be in danger going on the softs, and 40 gets a little sideways again there. He's really pushing these mediums within an inch of their life, and as such he is fishtailing a little bit out of the exits, trying to hold on to the back of that Renault. Really putting his foot down out of those corners, struggling for traction. So here we go, Chapelele down the inside of Crossy. 40 defends, boxes him in really, and Crossy gets inside, and Chapelele's gone off. Holds onto it and regains that position, but because 40 sort of boxed him into that hole, it gave Crossy a good spot to try and take that back, and he took the opportunity. But now Chapelele has held that position, had to go off track. 3-second time penalty for doing that. I'm not actually, I think that was after the incident. So after the incident, he's gone off track trying to get a move done on 40 as well in quick succession, but now 40 gonna have some time to defend here. A little bit better exit this lap around from 40, but is he going to be able to defend up this hill? Forcing Chapelele to go the long way around. 40 holds his line. Chapelele goes back underneath. They're probably going to go side by side into here. Yep, into the Maggots and Beckett's like corners of this USA track. And 40 holds on, so he lives to fight another day. Chapelele still knocking down that door, trying to get in. And Crossy's not out of it as well. He's just behind these two, waiting for a mistake from either of them to take advantage. Aaron is caught up to the back of Plevs, so Plevs is going to have a Red Bull to contend with, possibly the next lap. There's just under a second, so he's going to have DRS to catch up. We'll stay with this battle at the front though. This is the important battle. On track at the moment. Chapelele, is he going to get the move done? No, not this time. Not close enough coming out of the corner onto that straight. 40 holds on again. Both locking up very close to each other there. Chapelele urgently trying to get past. He needs to get past before his tyres disappear. Another lock up from 40. That won't be doing his tyres any good either. And they'll be red hot at the moment. He's had 2 lockups in quick succession, so he needs to be careful. The traction just disappears a little bit after a couple of lockups like that. You get a bit hot. Another little lockup. We see a little puff of smoke off the Renault. Just on the wrong camera there, producer. Oh, I've got front cameras from all of them. It's not helping anyone. But Chapelele tries to get the move done again, and 40 holds that position. Great defending here from Renault. Great defending from 40. Car with faster tyres. Newer, fresher, softer compound. Not able to get it done at the moment. And that's keeping Crossy in this race as well. Any mistake from these three now could call curtains on their race. There's 3 laps left. How close can they all be to each other to get a pass done down the end of this straight? We're coming down into turn 12. And 40 going very wide, trying to lose the slipstream. Chapelele takes advantage. He gets in front now. I think he's gotten in front by enough that he's able to take the lead of the race. 40 will want to try and come back at him here. Little lock up again from Chapelele as they go round. Keeping a tight line actually in that corner, both of them, as we saw Crossy take a more wide line. All still within a second, so 40's not out of it. If he can keep within the second, he still can come back here. Goes very wide around there. Really pushing hard, trying to keep close to Chapelele. Force a mistake. Rossi goes wide there as well. Chapelele trying to break the toe. Goes to the left side of the track. Back to the right. 40 can't get close enough. This is this all-important first sector here. Can you stay on the back of the gearbox to take advantage down the next straight, the next DRS zone? Aaron has got past Plebs on that first corner. Apologies, we missed that overtake. But that relegates Plebs down into 5th place and Aaron on those soft tyres. But it will just depend what condition all of these tyres are. These softs should be dropping now. The mediums are going to be old, but there will be a cross point where the softs are just no good and the mediums hold their life a little bit more. Is that cross point going to be these next 2 laps? Let's be glued to our TV screens and find out. Chapelele building that lead. The DRS keeping 40 close. Crossie's dropped off a little bit now. Pleb's able to fight back and make a move. No, not this lap around. Jumpalainen is well out of it now. Todster and Miku are quite close to each other. Let's stay with these guys. Oh, very close. Very close to each other. They come down. Oh, Miku's had the duck back on the inside. Oh, and he spun. He just got too close to the back of the McLaren. And he really had the duck on the other side of the track. Tried to make that move stick and just probably couldn't get deep enough. Sort of sent it from a different postcode there. That was interesting. And Odster has had to cut. Probably he's had to give that position back. Is that an illegal overtake? Very interesting. I'd like to see that all unfold again as we saw that happen. Let's go back to the front. We don't want to miss anything that happens at the front of this race because 40 is still within a second of Chapelele. Crossy, I think his tyres are dropping off or he's made a couple of mistakes. He's now 1.4 seconds behind and probably out of it for the top 2. He'll have to hold on for 3rd against Aaron. He's 4.6, so he should be able to do that. And, oh, little love tap. Oh, and it sent Chapelele really wide. It didn't look like there was much contact at all. And 40, and I don't know. It seemed to be that they got a little bit of contact there, but was it enough to send him wide, or was he going wide anyway? Based on what we could see, I think 40 may have just nudged him off track a little bit there. And it's cost Chapelele again, Crossy spot as well, so it would be something for the stewards to look at the end of the race, but they were very close. And it caused Chapelele to go very wide. And it's also given Aaron a little glimmer of hope here, 3.4, although Plebs is right behind him. He's going to have to defend against the Renault, I feel. But this is a talking point here, 2 laps out, and a little tap from 40. It's caused Chapelele to go very wide on that corner, onto the grass, and Crossy's got up there as well. So just by sticking around, Crossy has been able to take advantage of that. We're in the final lap of the race. 40, Crossy, Chapelele, and they're all spread out a bit now as well. I don't think they're going to be able to get an overtake done unless there is a little mistake or a big mistake from someone, but Plebs is right on the back of Aaron. He's going to want to take this position. In fact, he's going to try and get it done now. Goes right around the outside, wheel to wheel, through the S-bends, and he's still close to him. And it might be best to keep the patience here and take him on the straight. Gonna have good traction out of this corner. Get him on the straight. The Red Bull, he's quick. He must be using all of his ERS. It's down near the end there. He's forced him to go to the outside, and he gets fully in front. Comes in. Is there room? A little bit of contact. They're still wheel to wheel. They'll go around this next corner, corner 13, and Plebs holds his line, which causes the Red Bull to go wide. Because the Renault was just in front of him enough to hold that line, and he's going to hold that position. Plebs into 4th place. We've got 40, Crossy, Chapelele, Plebs having to defend. He'll have to defend for the remainder of this race. Here we go though. 40 takes the win at the America Grand Prix. Crossy second. Chapelele a brave third. Plevs gets him on time penalty. So penalty gets Plevs up onto the podium. It's 40, Crossy, Plevs on the podium. Aaron finishes 5th. And that will be the race for you. I hope you enjoyed that race. Definitely entertaining near the end there with a couple of different strategies coming together. Jump line in 6th, Miku 7th, Todster has finished 8th. We just got to wait for Geordie and Spilly, who've been battling it out near the back of the grid. I'm just got to wait for these two to finish the race. We have Geordie, Spilly. Jumbo is AI, so we may have to wait a little bit for the end of this race, but I certainly hope you enjoyed it. There was plenty of action, plenty of overtaking. Very entertaining start to the race, as well as we saw plenty of action with 4 cars trying to go through that first corner. It doesn't really work. Billy's still got to come across. And then we'll be able to go to our podium of 40, Crossy and Plevs on the podium today. And there it is. We're with the racing point, but we will. There it is, 2 Renaults on the top. That will help their constructors battle. And Plevs getting that 3rd place will help him with a little bit of a gap over Jumpalainen and going into the next race. We watch the celebrations of the Champlain Flow. Great race for Renault today in America. And we'll bring up the standings. Sorry, not the standings, the race finish, so we can see how many penalties everyone had near the end of this race. Yeah, Plevs no penalties. That strategy continues to work out for him. Well, they had a few penalties there. 6 seconds, 3 seconds from the top, so keeping it pretty clean. Spilly 26 seconds, so that won't help him at all. Hope everyone enjoyed that race. We'll see you next week. We've only got a couple left, and it looks like it'll be a tight finish. I hope you can join us. See you next time.